All right, less than 100 days till kickoff in the NFL. I think we're about 94, 95, and Aaron Donald signs a big contract. Now the highest paid non-QB ever, which makes sense. It was reworked. He's now making $95 million over 3 years. I think it's worth it. I see a lot of Aaron Donald jerseys at these games and around. It's a very scientific study I conduct, so I have confirmed that it's worth it. But let's go over defensive player of the year odds right now. Myles Garrett is the favorite at 6-1. TJ Watt, winner last year, is 7-1 odds. Donald right there, 8-1. Micah Parsons, 10-1 odds. And then it gets goes on further. There's not just those four. There's many. You know what? Start us off, Parlay Kid.
So
you got one on the list. It's not that I mentioned there. Yeah.
No, right. I'm going to take one of our Cowboys, and it's not going to be the guy you think I'm going to be taking. And I don't really get this because this is a pass-friendly league, and yet you cannot find any cornerback in those names you just mentioned. Right? So, obviously you're going to get those edge rushers, but you know what? Give me a good defensive back all day long. I think you could find an edge rusher. It's hard to find good corners, and we know that. Now, we know our friend Trayvon Diggs depends on where you want to look and find his stats, because there are certain publications that rip him. They say, oh, he got torched last year. You take away his interceptions, he's not an effective corner. I don't care what I don't know what those people are watching in terms of, you could throw the stats out there. And I'm going to throw some stats at you too in a second. And Diggs is 60-1 to win Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year next year. So I love those odds for a guy that had 11 interceptions last year. Especially in a pass-happy league. We need guys to defend. We watch every single Cowboys football game. Yeah, of course, what you're going to give up some big plays once in a while. Any cornerback that's especially playing, bump and run, press coverage, they're going to get beat occasionally. But this is a guy, when I watch him, he shuts down a lot of number one guys. And let me explain. So I'll use PFR, which is from the Pro Football Reference stats, real quickly at you here, rather than the PFF stats, Pro Football Reference, okay? Diggs was targeted 103 times last year. Gave up 54 completions for 907 yards, 4 touchdowns, while he had 11 picks and 10 passes defended. Okay. Now, I guess some of these football nerds would say that's not good enough. But if a quarterback over a 3-game stretch was 54 for 103, 900 yards, threw 4 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and had 10 passes defended, what would you say about that quarterback? That he's terrible, right?
Right.
So tell me how Diggs, if that's what he's given up throughout a season, explain that to me, how that he's overrated in a way. We watch every Cowboys football game. We've seen some bad Cowboys defensive backs. Diggs is not one of them. He is an elite defensive back, and because he gets all this hate, he's going to be extra motivated this year. Watch the type of year he has coming up. 60-1. Take Trayvon Diggs. Take him.
I mean, let me play devil's advocate. You say watch the kind of year. What kind of year does he have to have? He had 11 interceptions and nobody voted for him. I mean, it doesn't help my cause either, because no one voted for my guy. The only ones to get votes were Watt, 42 votes, Parson, 3, and Aaron Donald, 3. So what does he have to have, like 20 interceptions?
And here's the thing, I watch enough Cowboys to tell you, and Watt's excellent.
Do you watch the Cowboys, Parlay Kid? I think we need to stop.
We know. We watch every minute of every game. And I watch a lot of Steelers games.
Yeah.
There are enough games where some of these guys, these edge rushers, are not effective. We talked about Khalil Mack for all these years. These guys can get shut down after a while. Diggs is watch Sal.
All right.
You're right. How does he have more than 11 interceptions this year? I don't know if he can do that. I don't know. But the perception is going to flip on him this year.
Right. All right.
From
Yeah, well,
from
that's
these
the-
analytics guys.
Didn't Darren say he had to get going pretty quick?
Yeah, I think it
Okay.
should be noted that we
Just
let
checking.
this off.
It
with
just
parlay kids
bothers
like,
me
hey, we got to
because
make this quick.
It's you watch the Cowboys.
Keep going.
I don't watch them. I just listen to you. No, of course.
You know,
I know.
You tell me Diggs is a below average corner?
No, but I think some of the PFR guys, whoever you're talking about, are voting or whatever.
No,
Because
PFR is on.
his rookie year, he got
they're on board with Diggs. It's PFR.
rookie year, he got
PFF.
torched.
I got the wrong PF.
His rookie
yeah.
year, Darren, he got torched plenty.
All right. So, Harry, I know, but we just went over what happened there. All right. So, let's, okay. So, Harry, go ahead. What's yours? I don't love yours,
I'm
Harry.
I'm gonna go cornerback. The new team Chargers. I'm gonna take J.C. Jackson at 50-1. Very underrated when he played, even in New England. He can be a game changer for the Chargers. Like playoffs, possibly the division this year. It's 17 picks the last 2 seasons in New England. To put that in perspective, the Lions as a team, the last 2 seasons, 18. And Brian's Raiders last 2 seasons, 16 as a team. He had 17, like I said, in the last 2 years. Chargers defense has been a big problem, and they were 22nd in picks last season. No one had more than 3 picks on this Charger team since 2017. Last 4 games of the season last year, they could have made the playoffs. They could have possibly won the division. Their defense gave up 8 touchdowns and had just 1 pick. They went 1-3 down the stretch. They blew that game, that Thursday game against Kansas City. I think this is a situation where, and plus the Raider game in the last game of the season that meant the playoffs. But J.C. Jackson, if he has another season where he has 8 or 9, like I said, the last 2 seasons, 8 and 9, if he has another season like this, the Chargers were to actually take over Kansas City and win the division, he could be a guy, if he has that type of numbers, be the reason why the Chargers get there. He could be an MVP candidate.
So if he had 11 interceptions like Diggs and played on a team that won the division like the Cowboys, he would get votes.
In the worst division compared to probably the best.
All right. Okay. It's asking a lot. All right. I don't know. You talk to the Patriots guys, and anyone the Patriots part with, the fans are like, oh, well, that guy sucked anyway. He was overrated. And that's what they say about J.C.
17 picks. I don't know.
All right. Brother Bry, what's your pick?
Well, I will say anybody going to the Chargers too likely is going to get hurt too. So
Yeah,
I think
that's
you got to worry about.
You're probably right.
But
You're probably right.
yeah, and I will say to Darren's point with Diggs, there was a stretch last year. I don't know at what week it was, but he was the 3rd favorite for MVP Defensive Player of the Year. I will say I think his odds got to like 5-1 or something like that. But yeah, I'm looking at another Cowboy. I'm going to look at Micah Parsons. I mean, at 10-1, I thought this is who Parlay Kid would normally take. Maybe he would have liked him.
He's the best defensive player in football.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing.
Do you even watch the games though?
Well, I watch him with Parlay Kids, so we're always watching them. But it is amazing how good he was last year. I mean, finishing second in Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie is phenomenal.
Yep.
But the thing is, even in this offseason, after he lost this award to Watt, he already said he wants to, he's already made people aware that he wants to win it this year. And the thing is, if you focused on him on every play of every game, it is really amazing what he's able to do with his body. His balance is amazing, the plays he makes. And it's not, I think the fact that he had 13 sacks last year and he's not even rushing the passer all the time is phenomenal. It's hard.
He looks like a wide receiver in that uniform too.
Well, the thing is, he's much bigger than you think he is. He looks a little small in the Cowboys uniform, but he's significantly bigger. Yeah. I know it's something about that, but it's if he improves, if he keeps improving, right? I will say if Parsons keeps improving, you're gonna have to. I know this is maybe a little ridiculous to say, but based on position, you're gonna have to start throwing out names like LT or Derek Thomas. If he keeps improving, right? He's that type of player, right? He can, just coming off the edge, a different type of edge guy. So, I hate the fact that he's on the Cowboys, but it's better than him being on the Giants, I guess. But I do think he's gonna be even better this year. So I thought at 10-1, it's kind of he's a fun player to root for. So he's a likable guy.
I love it. I love it. 10-1.
I see what you're doing. You're jinxing my team. I'm gonna have to do it right back to you because I'm going Max Crosby 30-1. Your team jinxing your best player. I mean, great story if nothing else. Much like Harry battled alcoholism, now he's back tip-top shape. 25. Now I know you need like 25. I know you need 20. This is a surprise to you, Harry? No, he had. I know you need close to like 20 sacks to win this thing, but he's had 25 in 3 years. But he's one of those guys, much like Parsons, in on every single play.
Oh.
And his quarterback hits, I have to tell you, Bri, jumped from 13 to 30 last year. His pass rush grade was 91.7, second only to Myles Garrett. Defensive Player of the Week twice last year. Another jinx here. I'm sorry, but he doesn't get hurt. He's played 49 games in 3 years. I know Donald plays all the time. Otherwise, both Bosas, Mac, any of those other guys on the top of the list, they get banged up. So sorry about the jinx there, but I really just think Max Crosby, 30-1, is a good number. Same reasoning here, Harry, except, a lineman has a better shot at winning than I think like a guy in the secondary wins like once every decade. You probably have one every 10 or 11 years.
The acquisition of Chandler Jones, I remember a couple of years removed.
I like Chandler Jones better than Khalil Mack.
I would think that probably, I think Chandler Jones being there probably helps Crosby much more.
I like that better than Mack. I think that's an upgrade for them. So 30-1 right there. All right. Those are our picks right there. Other football news. I'd rather talk about almost anything else but this Deshaun Watson masseuse story, but it's not going away. There's now a 24th accuser making a claim. I don't know. I mean, look, I blame the Haslams and I blame the Houston DA, and the league will screw this up too. But what are they supposed to do, Parlay Kid? He sat last year. The inept Houston DA couldn't get even like an assault conviction. And so they can't bring back a conviction. They can't charge him, whatever. And so, all right, he sat a year. So what are we supposed to do? So then the Browns, the Haslams are full of shit saying, oh, their daughters vetted the situation. Well, good job. It only took a month. And now we see a 24th accuser. So we're stuck. And like 24 is a ridiculous number. I know I'm not saying anything that no one else has said, but I can't get 24 women to agree on anything about me. Like you couldn't get 24 women to say I'm a good tipper or a bad tipper. Imagine this very specific charge. And I think the Browns are going to be worse off than they ever were eventually. I think they're going to get it from the Players Association. They're going to get dinged by the league. They're going to miss draft picks as a result of this. This already the scorn of all other owners. I don't know what to say. I mean, Herbert and Burrow, those are the next two quarterbacks, Bri, up for big contracts. What are you going to have to give them? And they have no accusations against them. Like, I don't know. I guess the one way we could talk open about it is like, how many games does he miss? I would put it at 9.5 games, Harry, over or under.
Yeah, I mean, I think it should probably be like 12. Then he can probably appeal, probably cuts down to back to 10. But I still think overall, like Cleveland hardly, you mentioned Cleveland's out, hardly make the right decisions as a franchise, and signing him for $230 million in guaranteed money on a 5-year deal. But in the offseason, the NFL moves, that gets of the offseason.
Well, now we see that the guaranteed money isn't guaranteed if subsequent accusers come out and he gets convicted by their accusation. So I think that I think a lot of this money could go away. The Players Association is going to go nuts, Parlay Kid. Over under 9.5 games. I'm not sure. I go over. I think this is going to stick.
Oh yes, I agree with that, Sal. The league has been in a tough spot right now. Like you're saying, the Browns have really botched this. The Browns have botched a lot of things, right, Sal? I mean, a lot. And you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
They've botched a lot of different things that they've done over the last, I don't know, I'd say a couple decades, but it probably goes back even further than that. I don't know. Like, what happens here? I think you're right. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be tough for Watson to play again this year. I mean, I don't like, but like, I really do think it's going to be tough for him to really see the field without people. In the climate we're living in, how can he step on a football field?
It's crazy. You're going to have some crazy protests.
I was even involved in the conversation.
24, Bri. I don't know. I mean, and then what do you do? Like, we got to bring it back to gambling. The Browns over under for wins and whether they make the playoffs has been off the board for like 2 weeks. I think we could have had it a few weeks ago at like 8.5 or 9. Should have gone under there. This is a disaster.
Well, just go under whatever they come back out with at any point. Just always go under.
I mean, they won't go less than 6.5, right? Even if he's out for the year. I guess they will. I mean, if Jacoby Brissett's their quarterback, you can't make it 7.5. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see what they would do at quarterback, right? What's the plan?
Well, do you step on the field if you're Baker Mayfield? Like, in a way, you kind of have to prove yourself a little bit, right?
He could be a hero there this year, Sal.
He could.
He could be a hero and a legend in Cleveland this year. He would have no pressure on him either this year to play there.
Well, although if he sucks like he did last year, he's not going to get another big contract from another team. So there's that pressure, but he probably shouldn't have even played last year. I don't know.
This situation is a nightmare for the Browns. It's a nightmare.
Yeah. It sucks. Blame the DA and blame the Haslams.
Well,
and I'm sure the league will fuck it up too.
Well, the thing is too, Sal, right? You're just waiting for like the 25th. I mean, eventually, right? Like that's the thing. It's like when does it end? I mean, how many masseuses were there? I mean, how far did this go? Jeez, so
ridiculous. All right. I don't want to end on a downer, but Parlay Kid's got to get out of here. We covered a lot. We'll be doing the NBA tomorrow. No hockey game tomorrow, right? Because now that series is gone. Yeah. So we got NBA. We'll dive into that.
No tie in the office, Bri?
No tie.
Brian's not wearing a tie. Talk about that. No tie. Hey, join the prop culture contest right there, extrapoints.com/arcade. That'll do it for another episode of Against All Odds. For Mikey Meatballs, for Scott the Grizz Holmes, and the Degenerate Trifecta, I'm Sal saying so long and happy handicapping.